Mr. President,
The senator from Oklahoma.
ask unanimous consent to set aside the pending amendment in order to call up amendment number 4204.
Without objection, the clerk will report the amendment.
Senator from Oklahoma, Mr. Inhofe, proposes an amendment number 4204.
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the reading of the amendment be waived.
Without objection,
Mr. President, I ask unanimous consent that the following senators be added to the Inhofe-Mikowski amendment number 4204. Sessions, Rubio, Shelby, Moran, Warren, Peters, and Menendez.
without objection.
Yeah, Mr. President, we've been here before. The same amendment or the same language that is in the base bill right now was in a year ago. And last year on the floor, we passed the Inhofe-Mikowski amendment requiring a report by the Secretary of Defense on commissary benefits. It passed by unanimous consent with 25 bipartisan sponsors and co-sponsors, supported by 41 outside organizations and by the administration. It required a study on the impact of privatization on commissaries on military families before a pilot program on privatizing could be implemented, and was to look at modifications to the commissary system. Now, it also required, and I'm sending actually for the language right now, which I'll get in a minute, it required a comptroller general assessment of the plan no later than 120 days after submittal of the report. Now, here's the situation. The House passed the FY17 NDAA. It doesn't include privatization language. The Senate version has the same language as last year that would authorize a pilot program to privatize 5 commissaries on 5 major military bases. But only yesterday we received the report from the Secretary of Defense, and we have not yet received the comptroller's review. Now, Congress asked for this study because of concerns about the impact of privatization could have on our service members and the commissary benefit. You know, it seems like we're taking away benefits. We're working these guys and gals harder than we ever have before, and this is one very significant benefit that is there. Senator Mikowski and I, along with, it's now 38 co-sponsors. Let's see, last year it was 25, and with the support of 42 outside organizations, are offering a simple amendment that strikes the privatization pilot program, allowing Congress to receive and vet the Secretary of Defense report and the report of the evaluation of the comptroller. It's not the first time this was done. In 1915, in January, there was a report that was directed the Military Compensation Retirement Modernization Commission that they determined that commissaries were worth preserving, and they did not recommend privatization. That report took place almost 2 years ago. And then when we surveyed in 2014, 95% of the military members were using commissaries, and 91% gave them a satisfaction rate. Now, according to the Military Officers Association of America, the average family of 4 who shops exclusively at commissaries sees a savings of somewhere between 30 and 40%. Now, I have a number. I'm not going to go ahead because of the limited time and read these that I was going to read before, but I have 6 testimonials by military members about using commissaries, and I ask unanimous consent that in my remarks right now, these be listed verbatim.
Without objection.
And our commissaries are required to operate in areas, and a lot of these objections are from remote commissaries that are commissaries in remote areas where people are not, they don't have any other place to actually make their purchases. At a time when thousands of junior service members and their families use food stamps, we should not be making changes that could increase costs at the checkout line. The commissary benefit encourages people to re-enlist, preserving a well-trained, dedicated military. It ensures training investments are well spent, saving the expense of retraining the majority of the force every few years. The commissary savings, proximity and consistency of the commissaries also encourage spouses whose opinions may be decided factor in the reenlistment decisions. I know this is true. In fact, just last Friday, I was in Altus Air Force Base. I went into the commissary and talked to someone who was reconsidering. It was the wife of a flyer out there. And right now, one of the biggest problems that we have in the Air Force is the pilot shortage. And they said that would be a major determining factor. So it's the right thing to do. It also provides jobs for families of servicemen. 60% of the commissary employees are military related. The greatest benefit is that their jobs are transferable. You know, if they're transferred from one place to another, they're already trained and ready to go. The Department of Defense delivered their report, as I said, only yesterday, no one's had a chance to go over it. The mandated GAO review of this plan is now underway, and of course, it's going to be up to 120 days after this for the next step to become completed. The report supports Section 661 of the Senate bill regarding optimization of operations consistent with business practices. But it doesn't affect 662, and that's the section where we have the pilot program. And we have addressed this before, but the report also acknowledges that privatization would not be able to replicate the range of benefits, level of savings, and geographic reach provided by DECA while achieving budget neutrality. It states the Department of Defense, and I'm talking about the report from the Department of Defense, is continuing its due diligence on privatization by assessing the privatization of all portions, and they're already doing that right now. In fact, some things have already been privatized, such as the delis, the bakeries. They've been privatized already in those areas where that is actually working. So the privatizing military commissaries before having the full assessment of the costs and the benefits, I think is not the responsible thing to do. So we owe that to our members, and I would like to include, after my remarks, the 40 members that are co-sponsors and the 42 organizations that are supporting the Inhofe-Mikulski Amendment number 4204.